yellow diamond. Nice from Koenen, plenty of movement. She finds a way to post and finds a way to goal.
Cara Koenen, congratulations, 100 caps. That is unreal. Life in netball has changed for you. You are a one club player, which is very, very cool. Talk to us about what the Magnetic Island girl started as with her netball journey all those years ago and how you kept in the game for so long.
Yeah, crazy. I guess reflecting on the pathway up until this point, I feel like I've been there's a bit of luck, I think, in the timing of it all and falling into a sport, I think, a little bit. The first year that I played netball was the first year my primary school decided to have a netball team and put a team into a competition that was running over on the mainland, as we used to call it. And they kind of just put some feelers out, I guess, to the year 7 class, which was the seniors at the time. And asked would anyone be interested in joining up with the team. You get the day off school on Friday, so I was like first one there, put my name down, loved school, but obviously everyone's jumping at the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just fell in love with the sport. It was something that I felt I had that was my own. My siblings are all very, very sporty, but luckily probably for mum and dad, we've all kind of ventured off into our own separate sporting fields. So they haven't had to pick too many sides, which is always good for them. But yeah, I guess it's all kind of fallen into place from there. Had to make a couple of big moves, obviously from Magnetic Island to Brisbane and then Brisbane up to the sunny coast. But I guess when Knowles came on board with the Sunny Coast Lightning and SSN was created, I was very, very lucky in the timing of when I was coming through the pathway. And it didn't take much. She was like, she called me and she was like, do you want a contract on the coast? And she was like, go away and think about it, take your time, no stress, no rush. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yes.
It's nothing to think about. I was like, girl, my bag's already packed. I'm ready to go. I guess the last 8 years have been a bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, that conversation with Knowles back in 2016 before the start of 2017, the inaugural Sunbooks of the full season. When you got here to the coast, you were a sub player to Steb and Seabass. What did you learn from them? Because whatever you've learned from them, you put your own spin on it. I mean, you're an Australian diver now. Whatever you've done has been absolutely exceptional. What was it like, I guess, starting off under them?
Yeah, I spent a good amount of time warming that bench, which I was very comfortable with because obviously I was completely in awe of the players that I was around. Obviously, you mentioned Steph and Seabass, but I was so lucky in the likes of Laura Langman, Jiva Mentor, some incredible international talents, while having girls who I had kind of played with growing up as well, in Maddie McAuliffe and Shezzy and Steph, obviously. So I feel like I got so lucky in the group that we had. It was a crazy kind of the stars aligned kind of moment. And I wanted to approach those first few years with the club as like, I just wanted to be a sponge. I wanted to soak up every bit of learning that I could take. Obviously, Knowles led from the front. She had such an incredible way of viewing the game, but we had so many experienced players that I just was like, give me any and all of your tips and tricks and I will try and emulate it, but also I wanted to kind of make it my own. And I feel like that's kind of where I've ended up in netball as well, kind of a taller but moving with a bit of a hold. I feel like I've kind of just taken elements of other people's games and then trademarked them off as my own, just ripped them off completely.
Well, there's two things that sort of spring to mind. Firstly, I believe it was the 2018 grand final when Steph was knocked to the ground those final moments. And I remember talking to you after that game and you were like, all that was in your head was get up, Stephanie, get up, Stephanie, get up. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone who's so young. But again, I mean, this is why you play the game, right? For moments and opportunities like that. And yes, you went on for a bit. And you guys came away with the win of that grand final, which was just extraordinary over there in Perth. What I love the most about you, and you just mentioned it too, Cara, is the fact that you are such a dynamic goal shooter. You have taken bits and bobs and you turned that position into your own. The way, no, I've never seen anybody work a baseline the way you work a baseline. And no wonder you wear the green and gold, you know, is it any wonder? But what's it been like from the moment of that call from Knowles to now being an Australian Diamond? Is there anything else that you've learned along the way that you would like to pass that on to the other players today?
Yeah, I think that like something that I think has probably been instilled in me right from the get-go with the players that I've been around is that the best teams and the best players, I think, are always eager to learn. And I think that it's a really, really powerful thing to bring younger players into an environment. And I think the Diamonds do this so well now. And what we do here, I'm trying to bring younger players in and create an environment where they're really comfortable to be able to provide feedback and give as much as what they're getting in return. Like, I think it's so powerful to be able to step in as a younger player and feel like you're actually contributing and you're not just kind of along for the ride, I guess. And as much as it is a real massive learning curve, and obviously there are all of these things that go into being a professional athlete in terms of like the professionalism, the organisation, the sacrifices, all those good things that come part and parcel with being a netballer. But I think, it's probably something that I didn't realise very early on in my journey. But I think I had such incredible leaders around me that, they really, really drove home how important it is for everybody to have a voice and everybody to contribute equally. Because, as you said, when Steph went down in that final, you never know when you might be needed.
Yes.
And looking back on that experience, I think like 21 and I had minutes here and there, but I definitely wasn't the more experienced player that I am now. So it definitely not only takes a 7 on court, it takes a 10, a 12, a squad. Everybody kind of contributes their little bit in order to get that final end result and that final like trophy at the end. Yeah.
You mentioned you're from a talented family. Your brothers and sisters are playing all kinds of sport at the top level. What's it like to be amongst a family that is so talented? Like, your parents just got like this rotating roster of, okay, we got Paris netball, where we're off the AFL soon. Like, how does it work from a Koenen point of view?
Yeah, I think it's probably a blessing and a bit of a curse because board games are no-go in our household. Like, over Christmas, we had all of the girls sitting down and trying to play a game of cards, and it gets very heated. It gets tense around board games and card games in our family. So it was probably great in terms of our own individual careers because I feel like we were always trying to one-up one another. We were always trying to, in the best possible way, because I also feel like my siblings were my biggest idols growing up and they were my biggest support crew as well. I think it was, again, great that we all split off and went into our different kind of sporting fields, because then we could just kind of be cheerleaders. And whenever I'm playing in Brizzy or whenever I'm in Melbourne, my brothers and my sisters will always be the first to hit me up and ask for tickets. And it's always really nice to be able to catch up with them in amongst all the busyness that is our lives at the moment in our respective sporting fields. So it is. It's really, I guess I do have a lot of credit that they are owed in the way that we kind of grew up together in where we've all gotten, I think.
Yeah, that's really sweet. Because, there can be a lot of sibling rivalry.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen, guys, your biggest cheerleaders of each other, which is really nice. So you are that person who you got signed on for Sunshine Coast Lightning 8 years ago.
Crazy.
Let's fast forward 8 years. You're still here. You're the only player in his team to have started the club and have still playing with the club. 8 years in netball. Is there one moment in particular that stands out for you that you go, that is the moment of my career?
Oh, that's such a hard question. I think obviously, I think the obvious answer is like back-to-back premierships, 2017 and 2018. Like that was absolutely incredible to be in part of a completely new club that was built from the ground up by the people here on the Sunshine Coast. We had the tiniest little offices that were completely empty, tumbleweeds rolling through. And to be able to have that kind of on-court performance is absolutely incredible, and you can't look past that. But I think that for me, netball and sport have always been about those little in-between moments, the off-court stuff. I have made some of my best friends playing netball. Obviously, I don't want to talk about that too much because I'll get emotional, but being a bridesmaid at her wedding, for example, like these relationships that are fostered and built through these little moments, I feel like are the ones that I'll remember when in another 8 years, maybe, when kind of my career is said and done. Like those are the kinds of things that I think stick out, and that's probably why I've stuck with the club as long as I have, I think, as well. I think we've got something really special here on the coast, not only with the people that are here, but also the community as well. Like I think that we have an incredible fan base. People are always stopping you in the shops and saying hello, and willing to have a conversation and show their support or recognize you and snap a selfie or whatever it might be, which I think is really, really special, and it's not something you come across often. So yeah, I think those tiny little in-between moments are probably what do it for me.
Talk to us about the moment that you stepped out onto the court as your name is called out over the speakers here at the USC Stadium. The crowd erupts. What's that like as a player?
Yeah, I think that it's I think a little pre-game thing that I try to do every time I step out on court is just to take a moment to appreciate all of the people who have come to kind of watch us play. And I know that a lot of people, for me, have made sacrifices for me to get to where I am today. And I have no doubt that my mum and dad will be doing their absolute best to be able to get on a plane and get down into the UniSC arena as well to cheer me on. But it's probably just like amongst the crowd, taking stock of the people who have made sacrifices to be able to get me to where I am, because it does take a village, and there are a lot of things that go into it. So I absolutely wouldn't be where I am and playing 100 National League games, which kind of doesn't really sound real until it probably happens. So definitely just taking a moment to appreciate all of those people as well.